Can't get any words. Podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse Podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I trust we are well on this lovely Tuesday. Currently Monday here where I'm sitting at the moment, but hey, let's talk to future self and imagine that it's also a good day on a Tuesday. But we're back in the studio straight off the bat. It has not been a very eventful week in the world of Jimmy Missing here. So there is a little bit of breaking news, exciting news. I don't fucking know what you want to call it, but there is a bit of news coming up that will fill the space of how quiet my week has been. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, let's rip into what has actually happened this week. Couple of little stories from my kids, my wife, the usual shit. You know what I mean? I don't think I got any work stories this week. I think it was look, don't get me wrong, it was a busy as fuck week at work. Probably the busiest and most stressed out I've been in a while since I've been back in the what's the word? Employment zone. Is that what you'd call it? I don't fucking know. Anyway, nothing much exciting to happen there, but I chipped through all my work, got on top of it. So give me a round of applause, everyone. But this week, Westy comes home. He's got homework as per usual. I don't know why we do this. I think I've mentioned this on here before. We do the old James Missing method from when he was at school. We leave that shit until the night before it's due. I don't know why we do it. We should get on top of it. And that's the thing. Nikita is like a super crafty person. So she likes the shit where, like this week he had to do spelling words, like he's spelling words. I need to mute those fucking notifications. Let's hope no more emails come through during this podcast. Anyway, he has to do spelling words, and every week, I don't know why. He's in grade 3, okay? So it's not like he's in high school or anything. They have to like do it inside pictures or drawings or something. So usually Nikita just goes on Google and types in, like this week, for example, Westy's just started boxing. It's like his new little obsession. So she's gone boxing bag colouring in pictures, printed that off, put all his spelling words in the boxing bags, and then he's just got to like rewrite them or some shit. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it, okay? Anyway, it's the night before. Westy has, it might have even been, it was a boxing training afternoon, and shit was hectic. We went to boxing training, we came home, we did dinner, we did the usual fucking playing around with the kids, whatever we do, you know? And the boys were exhausted, and I think they crashed early for like the first time in forever. Normally they're like up later than Nikita and I, but trying to get on top of it, ladies and gentlemen. A few things like P is still so bad at wetting the bed. And hey, future P, if you're listening to this, and I've just outed you as a 4-year-old, 5 next week, as just pissing the bed all the time. But anyway, started trying to get on top of it the only way that kids understand, with bribery. Good old-fashioned bribery. So we've put a sticker chart up on the wall, and we're like, if you wake up 7 nights in a row with a dry bed, then you get a toy. And Nikita sold it as a big toy. Now, I don't know. I'm hoping we can find like a $5 big toy at the cheap shop or something. Anyway, he hit his 7-night mark last night. So I have to pick him up from school, the Savo, take him to the shop and see what selection he makes. So I'm thinking about just taking some cash, like taking a $20 note and being like, oh, it's all I've got, bud. Which in reality, that is all I've got. Anyway, I just went off on so many fucking tangents there, and I don't know where I was at. But let's bring it right back to what this story is about. Westy's homework. So the boys are asleep. Westy's homework's due, and Nikita's like, all right, my time to shine. So I'm on my laptop doing some shit, who knows. And Nikita slides up beside me with Westy's homework, and she starts doing it for him. And she's like, she's trying to do like 8-year-old writing, like all like squiggly and messy and shit. And I'm like, they're going to fucking know that's not his writing. But anyway, let's keep going. And she gets to his maths homework, and it's subtract 3-digit numbers from each other, and she's chipping through it, piece of cake. Then she gets to this old chestnut, okay? Now, straight off the bat, maths was my worst subject. I was in the lowest level of math. I could not click with it for some reason. Something about numbers and shit does my head in. I can't make them work in my head. But she gets to the second lot of questions, and it's where the top number, where you have to subtract a larger number from a smaller number, if that makes sense. So you've got to start borrowing numbers and shit. She lost me. For sure, I would fail grade 3 if I had to go back and repeat it. If I had to Billy Madison that shit, I would not make it to year 12 and make out with my grade 3 teacher. That is the plot of Billy Madison, ladies and gentlemen. I do not want to make out with my grade 3 teacher because I'm pretty sure he was a man. Shout out Mr. K if you're listening. Oh, God. The crazy thing about that is now he's Westy's substitute grade 3 teacher. So every now and then I've just got to awkwardly see him in the afternoons and be like, hey, I was that dumb cunt from your grade 3 class multiple years ago. How long ago was that? I graduated primary school in 2004, so I would have been in grade 3 and fuck, that's crazy, eh? I'm so old now. Anyway, Nikita starts doing it and she can't remember how to do it either, so she Googles it, and as soon as she saw the first line on Google, she's like, oh yeah, that's right, fucking easy, closes Google. And then she starts doing it, and then she asked me, she's like, oh, how do you do this one? And I was staring at it blankly, I had absolutely zero idea how to do it. And she's quizzing me, and I'm just getting incorrect answer after incorrect answer. She's getting so angry. She's getting so angry at how fucking dumb I am at maths. And I'm she's like, are you actually trying? And I'm like, yeah, 100%. She's like, don't you deal with measurements and numbers and shit all day, every day? And I'm like, yeah, sort of, in a way, but I've got a calculator on my phone. Crazy. The teachers that used to be their big speech at school. You're never going to have a calculator in your pocket. Pretty sure I have the entire world in my pocket these days. If I want to know anything, I can just jump on my phone, and in a matter of 3 seconds, I'll have the answer. So, oh, fuck, this blew my mind as well, okay? Anyway, we'll move on from that because that's run its course. Westy, again, he was doing his homework. This is a couple of weeks ago now. I don't know why I didn't write this down as a talking point. But he's doing his spelling words or whatever, and he can't work out. What was it? I think he wanted to know what one of the words meant or something. And I was like, oh, you're just going to have to go look it up in a dictionary. And he's like, a what? And I'm like, a dictionary. And he's like, he thought I was making a joke, using the word dick and then just making up a fake line after it. And I'm like, do you not know what a dictionary is? And he's like, no. And I'm like, it's a big book with all the words in it. All the words in the whole fucking world are in this one big book. And he's like, the Bible. I'm like, no, not the fucking Bible, the dictionary. And Nikita and I started trying to explain to him. We're like when we needed to find out a word when we were at school, we used to have to go to this big book and then go to the letter that it started with. And then would have to work out how it's spelt, and then there'd be a little definition underneath it. And he just looks at us. He's like, you guys are so old. And I was like, fuck, that is brutal. I go, what do you do if you need to work out how to spell something at school? Or if you need to look something up? He's like, just go on Google. He's like, why would we flip through a book? We can just go on Google. I'm like, of course. I feel like I would ace school these days. Well, actually, that's an incorrect statement because I just explained how I can't do fucking 3-digit subtraction. But anyway, talking about the big old books, he goes to a private school, okay? So religion is one of their subjects. And, oh, fuck, this is a heavily homework dependent podcast this week. Luckily, I didn't think this would drag on this long. Hopefully you guys are getting some joy out of it. But part of his homework was look up this verse in the Bible. And Nikita and I are fuck, do we have a Bible in this house? And we don't. So I don't know. Maybe we are sinners. Who fucking knows? But we had to pull the old Google out on that one and just work it out. Anyway, let's keep talking about religion, eh? These are not talking points I had, but they're just coming to me as I'm talking out loud. We had We had good old-fashioned Jehovah's Witnesses in our street the other week, knocking on all the doors, and the boys were just in one of their moods. They were screaming, they were throwing shit, they were punching on hard, okay? And from our street, all you would have been able to hear is just screaming and crying. Nikita and I just yelling at them, like, get away from each other, don't go near each other, stop shit-stirring each other, all the usual stuff, okay? And we just look out the window, and the Jehovah's Witnesses just sort of look at our house and just walk to the next one. And we're like, oh my God, we can't even be saved by God anymore. The Jehovah's Witnesses have just fucking ditched us. They're like, those guys can go and burn in hell. There is no saving those guys. I don't even know. Are Jehovah's Witnesses the ones that, fuck, this could come across really offensive. And I'm sorry if this offends anyone. I need to freshen up on my religions, but are Jehovah's Witnesses the ones that do or don't believe in God? I fucking get them confused all the time. Anyway, let's keep going. Next story is about pee. I'm just going to have a little sip. Sorry for the awkward silence. This is where you need some co-hosts, you know? But I went and picked up pee the other day from school, walk in the classroom, and I walk in while they're doing a bit of a presentation in the afternoon of what they did that day. So they're doing this thing called bush kindy at the moment. So they go up in the school bush, learn all this shit about the bush, okay? And then I just get a lesson in the afternoons, which is actually pretty cool. It's crazy how much information P can like absorb and retain and just like spit it out again. I could never do that. Westy is a little bit hit and miss with that. So I don't know. I think secretly deep down P might be the little brainiac of the group who just likes to push it to the limit and ruin it by like, he'll be like, hey, Dad, did you know that octopuses have 6 hearts? And by the way, you're a fuckhead, and then give me the finger and run away. And I'll be like, and then I have to be like, okay, good work for retaining that information. Bad work for calling me a fuckhead. Go to your room. But yeah, I pick them up. They're going through their little PowerPoint presentation of how the day went. And up on the screen is a big picture of the entire class under the world's smallest tarp, okay? So the tarp was just over the top of them, and around the border of the tarp, you could just see all the kids and all the teachers' backs and asses just sticking out, okay? And I'm standing there, I'm listening, and they start going on. They're like, so yeah, if a intruder enters the school, this is what we need to do. We need to get the safety tarp, and we all just need to hide underneath it. And I'm standing there like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, obviously the whole schooling thing of like, I don't want to say any fucking keywords, but school shootings and all that sort of shit was not as prevalent when I was at school, okay? But we still knew if a bad guy enters the school, you drop to the floor and you move to the perimeter of the classroom, okay? And maybe like get under a desk or something. And now like protocol is to get the world's smallest tarp, find the world's worst hiding place, and just like the bad guy would just be walking around the school going, there's a tarp, gone. There's a tarp, gone. Like, it was the worst fucking thing I'd ever seen in my life. So, and I was like, maybe I misheard it. But then we got a notification on our phone from like the schooling app explaining it all to us. So I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if your kid's school have a safety tarp and if it's as dumb as my kid's school. Now, last little story I've got. This made me laugh. Any parents listening to this, it's always good to get a little one up on your partner, okay? And this time it was me getting one up on Nikita, and I didn't even have to do anything, okay? Last Tuesday, I think it was, Westy had ride to school, okay? It's where they get to ride their bike to school. They all meet at like the local community centre, and then they ride there with some police officers and stuff, learn about bike safety and road safety, yada, yada, yada. And every year I've done it with Westy, and Nikita's sort of followed behind with P, so it hasn't been that bad. But I had like a big meeting at work last Tuesday that I just couldn't get out of. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to miss out this year, but is what it is. And Nikita goes, that's cool, I'll take P and all that. And last minute, Nikita calls her sister who lives near the school, and she goes, hey, can I leave P with you? Just while I go do the ride to school with Westy, then get P and drop him to school. And it all worked out. She's like, yeah, cool. And So she drops P, she goes, does the ride to school. Half an hour later, I get a photo of P's face just fucking cut up and bleeding, like down the side of his mouth and on his chin and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And my sister-in-law just got like a new puppy. It's like I don't know what you want to call it, like a Staffy cross something, like a fucking pit bull kind of dog, okay? And just like they're trying to avoid the whole stigma of it being like a pit bull or an aggressive dog and stuff. And look, I'm 100% in the field of a dog will act however you bring it up, okay? Our dog is a dumb Dalmatian that will never hurt a fly. But obviously Staffies and stuff, they have that stigma. So Nikita sends me that and she's like, oh, Calais did it, who's the dog's name. And I was like, oh, okay. Is P okay? And she's like, yeah. Like they feel bad, it happened and all this sort of shit. Like the dog was just playing and accidentally scratched P's face. So I was like, okay, there's one point up on the board. Now that afternoon, I pick Westy up from school, exact same afternoon. And he jumps in the car and he's just looking like miserable and exhausted. I'm like, what's up, buddy? Big day at school. He's like, oh, I haven't eaten all day. And I'm like, what do you mean you haven't eaten? And he's like, well, I couldn't find my bag. Mum didn't give me my bag at school. And I was like, surely she did. And he's like, no, well, I had to go to the office. And I was like, hey, my mum didn't give me lunch today. Oh, God. He goes to the office. He's like, my mum didn't pack me lunch today. And they've gone, really? And they're like, where's your school bag? We'll check in your bag. And he's like, oh, my mum didn't bring my school bag today. Oh, God, this is so good. And they're confused straight off the bat. They're like, oh, what's your name? We'll help you. We'll see if we can find it around the school or anything. So because he did ride to school, okay, he's ridden to school, and in the excitement of the whole thing of getting to school, you've got your bike, you're showing all your friends your cool bike. Oh, my God, your bike has stump pegs. Look at my valve caps on my bike, like all that shit. And Nikita yells out, hey, Westy, I'll just leave your bag here in the corner of the basketball court. And Westy's just like looked at her and given her a thumbs up or something. And Nikita's gone to work thinking that Westy has like understood. He's given the thumbs up. He's seen where his bag is, but then he's just gone to class with no bag, no lunchbox, no nothing, and gone to the office and be like, my mum didn't pack me lunch today. It was so good. I'm surprised they didn't call one of us and be like, what's going on? But one of the people in the office ended up going to the basketball court and they're like, your bag's here. So he got like afternoon tea, which I guess is a silver lining. He got to eat something at school that day. And Nikita gets home and I was like, wow, seems like a big day for you. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, you let our youngest son get attacked by a pit bull and you sent our oldest son to school with no lunch. So looks like we're going to get a visit from child services sooner rather than later. But anyway, yes, another email did just pop through. I should, let me turn notifications off real quick. How do I even do that? Sound. Maybe I'll do that for fucking next week. I don't know how to do that right now on the fly. Anyway, I'm going to take a sip and then we'll rip into the exciting news. Now, no one really knows that I'm doing this right now. I will make Nikita and shit aware of it tonight when she gets home. But for long-time listeners of the podcast and even like people that know me fucking in the comedy scene the last little while are pretty aware that I've been working on a solo show for quite a while now. And I've just been stalling like a motherfucker. Just been a little bitch, not trying to finish it, blah, blah, blah. Now, the reason not much exciting shit has happened in my life this week is because I have buckled right down on it and I'm back working on the solo show. So the good news is the main part I was struggling with, okay, was getting an ending or just getting towards the end that I was happy with, okay, that tied it all together, expressed what I wanted it to be about, what I wanted to say, and just tie the whole show up in a pretty little ribbon. And I sat there about two weeks ago or so, and I was just flipping through it, and it was all just too like fucking story-like, if that makes sense. It was too like, okay, you went this is where you started. You went to A, you went to B, you went to C, you went to D. And like you watch comedy specials, they're not like that. Every now and then there's a through line. And I think that's a big Australian and UK thing. And seeing as I'm in the Australian market, I feel like I need to tap into that a little bit. But as I've mentioned before, all the comedy and shit that I consume is from the States. I do not know if I've seen an Australian comedy special in a very long time. Probably the only Australian comedy specials that really ring a bell that I've watched are Damien Power. Actually, Nick Capper, I spoke about his latest special. That would be a while ago now. That was the end of last year, I think. But yeah, hardly any Australian content, okay? So I'm trying, and look, it's probably an impossible task, but hey, we can have a crack. I'm trying to do the Australian UK thing where you have a through line, like a story that it's based on in a way, but then take the American thing where it's literally just fucking you're bouncing around bit to bit and just vaguely keeping that story in it, if that makes sense. I don't know if that does make sense, but in my head at the moment, clear as mud. So I'm pretty well happy with the direction now, and now it's literally, I would say 70% of the bits are written, and I'm pretty happy with them because I've literally wasted like a year just dipping into them every now and then. And it's a little bit annoying as well because I've been just doing the same material for the last 12, maybe even 18 months now. But I've just had all this shit sitting there and I'm like, fuck, I should just break it out. But some of it doesn't really make sense unless I change it a little bit so it doesn't have callbacks or through lines, things like that. And this is probably getting a little bit too in the weeds for people that don't really care about comedy. But hey, just having a little venting session, and maybe I might even get a little gem now as I pop this out. So yeah, I think the big thing has been like trying to find that spark again with comedy and stuff. And I sort of just sat back and I was like, well, realistically, like running around Brisbane and the Gold Coast doing these little spots is not grand scheme where I want to be. I want to be like the people that I look up to, I suppose. I want to be a touring comedian. I want to sell merch. I want to have a successful podcast on the back of all that to help push ticket sales, stuff like that. And in a way, again, this isn't fucking new information. I think I've said this on the podcast before. Being in particularly the comedy scene that I'm in, okay, and I'm assuming that in most Australian cities it's pretty similar. It just feels like the same. How many people would even be in the comedy scene? I would say maybe 100 regulars, okay, and then the drop-ins that come and do comedy for a month or two and then they fizzle away. But I reckon there's probably 100 people in the southeast Queensland region that are constantly chasing gigs multiple nights a week. So it just seems every gig, you just sit there, you sit out the back, you sit in a green room or something, and you just hear people, they're like, oh, I'm just waiting for this to happen, or yeah, I wish this would happen. Like, but the way that I look at things, I sit back and I'm more or less looking at me like as a business, if that makes sense, without sounding like a fucking stupid, arrogant, dumb cunt. But basically, if I was to go back and start a cabinet making business, I wouldn't just go buy a big shed, buy all this machinery, and then just sit in it all day and be like, oh, surely the phone will ring eventually. I'm sure that fucking, I don't know, who's a big superstar? I'm sure Keith Urban is going to call me. Why the fuck did I think of Keith Urban? But anyway, I'm sure Keith Urban's going to call me soon and want a new kitchen, so I'll just sit here and wait for that. Or would I go out door knocking, doing all the stupid shit, just going, oh yeah, you need one drawer replaced? Sure, I'll do that. And just hoping that down the track in 5 years' time when they need a new kitchen, they're going to go, oh fuck, who was that nice guy that fixed our drawer all those years ago? So that's how I see it, okay? I do not see my path as a middle-aged white man in the Australian comedy scene. I don't see a clear path for me to break into like the clubs and shit like that. And I think it's just time to stop sitting around and waiting like the rest of the scene for a phone call from the Comedy Store in Sydney or something to be like, hey, Jimmy Misson, we've just stumbled across your Instagram. You're a really funny guy. Why don't you come down and do a 5-minute spot? I'd rather, like, literally load up my ute. I've got everything I need now. I've got the speakers, I've got the lighting, I've got the stage, I've got fucking everything. The last thing I need is to pull my finger out and get this hour finished and just go out to the middle of bumfuck nowhere, entertain 20, 30 people for the night and just make good connections with them. Like, this regional shit is 100% where I see the come up, if you will. Like, if I go out there, I win over all those small little towns, I build a fan base in the small communities and things like that, because like Moree was a prime example. Everyone wanted to talk to you after the show. Everyone wanted to know your social media. Everyone was like, oh, you do a podcast. What's a podcast? Yada, yada, yada. And I just feel like if I go and target that scene, and I've said it about, again, last night, prime example, chilling in a green room, and a couple of the comedians were like, they were talking about what's next for them. And they were like, oh, probably, hopefully try and do like a solo show or a split bill in the festivals, things like that. And everyone thinks I'm weird when I say this, but the festivals do not entice me at all. And that's like, I'm not going to say I'm never going to do an Australian comedy festival, okay? 100% eventually I'll have to go do the Melbourne Comedy Festival because it's like an Australian rite of passage, okay? But to start with, I probably wouldn't go down there and just be like, spend a week of, because some of the people that go down there, they come back and we're in green rooms again and they spill how much they've spent just to go to Melbourne for 2 weeks and just try and sell tickets in a completely oversaturated market for like that month. You're literally competing against hundreds of other comedy shows. Your show has to be so good. It has to stand out. It has to have a catchy title, has to tick all the boxes just to get like 20 people to your show that night. And then if you don't, the bank account just starts bleeding. So I just don't see that as a smart bet off the bat. Maybe once I've got a name behind me, a bit of backing, a bit of like support and shit like that. Sure, let's go do that and let's try and sell some tickets and then put that little fucking banner on your poster when you get to it. Melbourne International performing comedian or whatever you do. I don't fucking know. But yeah, I think let's get on to the next little part of this. So the title, since I've started working on this show, this is pretty much the one thing that hasn't changed. Mainly because it's one word that has literally been with me since fucking early high school. I don't know how or why it came up, but it was eventually my MySpace name. It was my little graffiti tag when we were all doing that in the 2000s. It was everything, okay? And wherever I could put it in, I would do it. My granddad would call me. He'd be like, what's the name for a racehorse? And I'd just drop this word. And that word is Epiphany, okay? Now, I didn't just want to call it Epiphany. At the start, I did, but it wasn't catching me. So I was sitting there looking at it, and I was like, fuck, how can I make this word cooler or funnier or just the name of a comedy tour or a comedy special, just relate to comedy, okay? So I was looking at the way it was spelled, and I was sounding it out. I'm like, Epiphany, and it's fucking in the word. So the title is Epiphany, but on the posters and shit, again, I haven't worked on this yet. This is the next phase I'll touch on, is I'm going to more or less write Epiphany and then somehow coolly cross out the back word of that, and above that or below that or laid over the top of it will just be the word funny. So it'll be EPIFUNNY, Epiphany, which I thought was pretty fucking clever. I was stoked when I came up with that. And I had a quick Google. I haven't seen anyone else with that title or anything like that. So, yeah, I think, and like the whole comedy and podcasting thing is literally off the back of an epiphany, if you will. Like that stupid little dream that I had that was just so vivid and realistic. And I was like, perfect. That's it. That's what it has to be. So that is what the show will be called when I eventually get it out. Now, let's talk timelines, because this is the thing that I wanted to come on here and basically just some accountability, okay? Because if I voice it on here, I might even clip this up so it keeps me super accountable, so everyone on the fucking internet is like, hey, wasn't fucking James doing that back in 2025? It's now 2088 and he still hasn't written his first hour. So I am thinking I want to – look, I've spoken about this on the podcast as well. I've started trying to hit gym hard again. No, it does not really look like it, but small little changes, okay? I've lost a couple of kilos on the scales, noticed a couple of minor physical differences that I'm like, okay, heading in the right direction again. We seem to be back on that path. So I want to lose a bit of weight, somewhere in the realm of 5 to 10 kilos, ideally. And then I need to go get headshots and shit done for mainly the poster for the tour and the show. But also whenever I get spots at like the clubs, like Good Chat, Guilt Free, Base Comedy, they're always like, oh, can you send us a performers package, which is basically headshots. It's a brief bio of like any achievements and shit that you've done. Mine is more or less nothing. It's like the host of the Can't Get Any Worse podcast and 2-time semi-finalist of the Raw comedy competition, which like, I don't know, that it's not a big thing for me to be like a semi-finalist in the Raw competition. Like, fair enough, maybe state finalist, but even then, like, sometimes I see that and I'm like, like cringe a little. So yeah, need to get some headshots done, need to do all that, but I don't want to go get them done while I'm a fat cunt. I'd rather be somewhat comfortable in my own skin, where I hate photos, okay? I hate doing this podcast where I've got to look at a camera pointing at me with a picture of myself, okay? I absolutely hate looking at myself, hate photos, always have, always will. So at the very least, I want to somewhat feel a little bit more comfortable in my skin before I go there and a photographer's like, all right, now put one hand up and one hand on your hip and make the shape of a teapot or something, you know, just, fucking hate it. I do not even want to keep thinking about that right now. It's making me cringe. So then the next thing is, when is this all going to go down? So I am thinking realistically, we are now in the, 26th of May, so it'll be 27th of May when this comes out. I am thinking end of June, first draft, 100% done. In the books, the full show is on paper. It's out of my head. I've got the structure, which that's the other thing. Like, the structure and shit is going to change so much from the first couple of times I do the show to where I eventually get it and hopefully film it for YouTube or some shit. I'll release it somewhere. So, yeah, that first starting point, okay? Revision A, if you will, of the show. I want to have that done by the end of next month, June, which I think is a realistic target. And looking at the calendar, my June gigs are somewhat, I've probably got like 1 gig a week in all of June. So what I was going to do this week is try and fill out June, book a heap more gigs, but I'm like, no, let's slow down. Let's let our foot off the pedal a little bit. Yes, the vlogs will die down. Yes, you'll lose a little bit of stage time. But again, stand back, look at the grand scheme. If this is what you want to do, then fucking spend those nights that you'd be out gigging, doing your 5-minute spots at the coffee shop or locked away in the office and just get this shit knuckled down on paper, done and dusted. Let's make it happen. So yeah, let's work towards that. Then I reckon I will probably spend July. What's that? Yeah, June and then July. I reckon I will spend that month refining it myself and then maybe I might show maybe 2 people in the scene that I feel comfortable around. And then maybe even a couple of people, maybe Ash and Adrian. Maybe just Ash, because Adrian will be too critical. So Ash, I need you to proofread my show. Do not let Adrian see. Anyway, so that's where that's at. And then I am thinking September, October, I will hit the road somewhere. And this is the other thing. This is all, I'm just talking this out, so it's out in the atmosphere. It's done and dusted. I have to stick to my word and make it happen, okay? I think realistically, I should do the first show locally. Just find maybe somewhere like Guilt Free Comedy Club that's been giving me a heap of spots lately. That might be a cool little venue. I don't even know what sellout is for that. I think sellout might be 70 people or so. So even if I got half that, that'd be a good place to work out a first solo show, I think. So yeah, maybe I might do it there. Who knows at this stage? And like that September, October period, again, that's around when the Good Chat Comedy Festival happens. So again, I just shat on festivals, but in a way, it's kind of fitting that my first split bill show last year was at the Good Chat Festival. Maybe my first solo show might be there as well. Who knows? But I don't. Again, it's all a moving target. But September, October, the show will be performed somewhere, and then off the back of that, the touring starts. So I've already sat down. I've already started mapping out towns and shit that I'd like to go to, and also towns that I think comedy will work well in, okay? So, yeah, all a moving target, all up in the air. Whether or not it has to fucking land because we have to make it happen. There was something else I wanted to say about all that shit. What was it? I don't remember. But, yeah, like the other thing is I want to – because all the comedians I listen to, okay, they're like the big money maker while we go away is merchandise. Now, I am not big enough. I don't really have anything good enough to be merch or anything. Like I guess I could do some hats or something with Can't Get Any Worse on it. But then it's like you're going to a comedy show for Jimmy Misson. So what the fuck is Can't Get Any Worse? And why would I buy one of their hats? So I'm like, well, do I work on a Jimmy Misson logo or something? I don't fucking know. But yeah, I want to get some merch. Maybe it's even like stubby coolers or something, or stickers, just something that gives the crowd a connection point to me after the show where I can just finish the show, be like, hey, once the show's done, I'll be at that table up the back. Come say g'day, come get some photos. I'll have stickers for fucking $2. And then that's like a bridge between me and them. They've invested not only in the show, they've got something to take home from it and remember me for however long. And then next time when I come to town, they're like, fuck, that's that cunt that we have his sticker on our beer fridge in the garage. Let's go see what he's got to dribble this year. So yeah, I think that's probably it for the solo show. So Epifunny will be coming to you guys very, very soon. And if it doesn't happen, I need you guys to get on the DMs and be like, cunt, you fucking lied to us. So each and every one of you guys, I look at the analytics and shit of where you guys listen to the podcast. So I know like there are little towns and shit where people are listening to this dribble, and I will for sure be coming to dribble to you guys. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. The other things I've got to touch on, we probably will get to the full time of the episode now that I've talked nonsense for so long, but I just wanted to touch on shit regarding the podcast real quick. Guest episodes, yes, they've died down a little bit. They will be coming back. Starting next week, we have a guest episode lined up for recording this weekend, actually. So I need to juggle because next week the UFC breakdown is supposed to be coming out on the Thursday. So maybe that guest episode will come out the following Thursday. It just depends. I'll talk to the guest and I'll be like, maybe if we don't date any shit, we should be fine. Then I can release it the following week and then we start a schedule from there. But yeah, a couple of guests actually locked in, 100%, dates locked in, times locked in, a couple of people from this area, a couple of people flying in that we're getting on the podcast while they're in town, and then probably four to five people in the comedy scene that have expressed to me in the last 3 or 4 weeks that they want to come down, have a yarn. They've listened to a couple of episodes recently and they're like, fuck, it looks like fun just to sit in there and talk shit. So a couple of local comedians and stuff booked in as well, which I think will be good for you guys to get a bit more of an idea of not only who they are, but how the comedy scene is for them. Maybe they come on and we disagree on like certain things within the scene. Who knows? But I think that'll be cool. The other one that I need to touch on, I said about 2 or 3 weeks ago now that I was working on a new podcast logo / artwork, blah, blah, blah. Still working on it. I cannot get it. And you guys know me, much like with the solo show. I don't like to release anything until I'm 100% happy with it. I've got a couple that I'm like 80 to 90% on, but I'm like, fuck, I need to get that last little bit. But whether or not I can make it happen, I'm just going to have to bite the bullet eventually and pick one and just release it. Because I think that needs a little freshen up as well. So working on it, working on a million things. So I think it's actually going to be good that comedy will die down a little bit in June for me so I can just focus on all this shit and get it done. But anyway, that's been my little rant for the week. Oh, fuck, I haven't even done my week in comedy. Okay. Jesus Christ, we will go time. Kicked off Holland Park Hotel, got there, and it's a cool little upstairs room. When I saw the layout and stuff, I wasn't expecting a lot, but then the crowd started to fill in, and it actually was a cool little space, and the crowd was fucking up for it. It was sold as like a dark and dirty night, and I was first cab off the rank, which you never know how dark or dirty they're going to want you to go. But yeah, I think I did relatively well. I did those 3 new jokes. 2 of them went well. One of them bombed pretty hard, and I just acknowledged it and got a laugh. Little bit of crowd work with some bitch up the back. I don't even remember what I said, but she basically, I said something about, is anyone in the, believe it or not, I'm married or something. And then she like laughed and she's like, said something dumb, like, yeah, not to me or something. And I was like, why the fuck would I want to be married to a bitch that yells out at comedy shows or something like that? Crowd laughed, yada, yada, yada. Also some crowd work about conditioner bits. Some bitch admitted to like jacking dudes off with conditioner. So that'll all be in the vlog for that one when that gets released. I'll clip all that shit out so you'll be able to see it. Keep an eye out for that one on the Jimmy Missin YouTube. But yeah, cool gig. Hopefully that one keeps going. Absolutely fun times. I believe there was an open mic that ran after the the normal show, but apparently that went pretty well as well. So I probably should have stuck around, but you guys know me. I like to shoot off after my time. Last night I was up in the Valley at Big Fork Theatre. Walking to the gig, saw a crackhead smash their beer bottle on the concrete, and I was just like, I need to get the fuck off these streets, and started power walking with my little camera. Got to the gig, and as usual with that gig, like 20 to 30 people there, but in the space, it's almost perfect for it. Fun little crowd. There was a mum in the front row that I was just riffing with most of my set. I think there was a bit where I was like, any parents in the crowd? And she's like, miserably, she's like, yeah. And then I saw the girl next to her, like, give her a weird look. And I was like, oh my God, is that your daughter you're sitting next to right now? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You must feel dead inside that your mum just fucking did that in front of you. And yeah, again, another funny little bit of shit that'll be isolated in that vlog. But yeah, cool gig. Had fun up there. Did the new bits again. Opposite this time. So the one that bombed the night before was probably the best joke on my set. And I just played with the ending a little bit, mixed around a couple of words and shit, which I've just been letting myself get loose with those 3 jokes, which has been fun. It's not really something that I did with the rest of my jokes to get them tight. But yeah, I've tried to open up a little bit on more stage, be a bit more loose, just let shit come to me. And last night, prime example, got a bit of a win, and now I think that joke is where it needs to be. So fingers crossed that one keeps going well, but we will see. We'll see at the gig I have this week. I'll probably run it again. But yeah, another cool little thing is last night, like I'm by no means anyone in the scene, okay? I'm absolutely nobody. And I've got my people that I get along well with in the scene. One of them is Josh Spyro, and he won the Queensland Raw competition this year, flew down to Melbourne, got that whole experience, things like that. And we're chilling in the green room last night, and he was on after me, and he's like, hey man, I know you shoot away like usually straight after your sets. He's like, would there be any chance you could stick around, watch my set, and just give me any notes that you think could make jokes better, different ways to tie them together, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I was a little bit chuffed inside. I was like, oh, how exciting. So yeah, it was pretty crazy that, I don't know, like he could just ask fucking different people, different nights, which I'm assuming he probably does. But yeah, it was cool to get someone to ask me to critique their set in a way, which was almost impossible. The dude smashed it. There was just one little bit where I told him and he's like, oh, fuck, I think you might be right. That's what I needed, blah, blah, blah. So that was cool. So yeah, that's been my week in comedy, basically. Let's rip into Turns Out It Can Get Worse. I've got 3 pretty fucking crazy videos for you this week. Let's start off with this one. It is a beautiful urban lady, okay? Let's hit play. Let's see what she's got to say.
Go ahead. Don't get my phone. Stop playing. Bitch, stop playing. It get wet in the field, bitch. It get wet in the field. Bitch.
What does that mean?
I'm finna show you, bitch. Watch this. My fingers is new.
Okay.
My system, they got me fucked up. Watch this. Listen, shut the fuck up.
What the fuck? That is fucking wild. Jesus Christ. Could you imagine if I just called someone out? Remember when I called Curb out on the podcast? Imagine if I was like, Curb, you don't want this shit. And then just zoomed my camera down and just started fucking jacking it. That is crazy. I do not fucking... Oh, God. For audio listeners, go check the video out. That is insane. We just watched a urban lady finger bash herself on camera. Oh, yuck. That is gross. I'd hate to say it, guys, but it does not get better from here on in. If my Uber driver ever did this to me, I would be fucking fuming. So,
hey, buddy, I think you forgot to tip me on the app, so I gave you a little bit of extra toppings. I hope you don't mind. You know I had to drive 12 miles for this, right? $20 for 12 miles? You get a little piece of me on the burger for that.
Bro.
Hope you're hungry.
That is so fucked. So, that Uber driver has just ripped out a bunch of his fucking pubic hair and put it on this guy's fucking cheeseburger from Macca's. That is a fucking McPube burger. A McPube burger if I've ever seen one. Duck to your local McDonald's store right now and ask for a large McPube burger meal. Tell them the folks at the Can't Get Any Worse podcast sent you. McDonald's, I'm still looking for a sponsor. Let's fucking make it happen. Anyway, last video for this segment. Again, I do not know how old blokes go on the internet and do this type of shit. So we have an old bloke up the top and then we have a lovely lady down the bottom on some sort of chat roulette app. Let's see what's going on.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. You want to see more?
Show me.
Okay, let me get him really hard first. I've been working on making him bigger too.
Okay, fine. Let's talk while you're doing that.
Okay.
Okay.
So-
What the fuck? I'm intrigued to see what he has been doing to make that bigger. But yeah, he is a very pasty man. Anyway, things I've consumed this week. I've only got one really to talk about, and I've been blasting it since it came out yesterday. A couple of people will fucking hate me for this. MGK. I've lost 90% of my listener group. MGK, Machine Gun Kelly. He released a song yesterday called Cliché. Me and Westy cannot stop fucking blasting that, okay? He has like dabbled in the world of boy bands, and it is like heroin to my veins when that song is on. And the amount of times Westy and I have played it, we're going to be so over it this time next week. But holy fuck, keep it going while it's good. Go check that out. That is pretty much all I've consumed this week. Let's rip into our motivational clip for the week. Back on the motivation train this week with the man himself, Mr. Joe Rogan. I believe this is only from a week or two ago when he had, I think it might have been, actually they might even be in this, but I think it was, what's his name? It's not coming to me. The fucking bow hunter guy. Anyway, we'll hit play. It doesn't matter.
There's people out there that are just working harder than everybody else, and they're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
And that's their grind. You know, and those people are super valuable because they change everybody's perspective of like what's possible, what to strive for, and what it takes. Like, do you really want to be a champion? Why? Because you just want to be cool? You want to be the coolest guy on the block? Like, you're not gonna win. You're gonna find some fucking psychopath who just lives it. It's their whole life. And if it's not your whole life, get out. Get out.
So yeah, I thought that was a good little one of working hard, things like that. That was with Cam Haynes as well. It just came to me while I was watching that. Shout out to Cam Haynes if you're ever in Australia, bro. Let's tee up a podcast. But yeah, that's brought us to the end of the week. Thanks for pushing through that little rant in the middle, but I just had to keep myself accountable. If I voiced it somewhere, that's how I work. I have to fucking stick to doing it. Like the podcast every week. I've said I'm doing a podcast. I'm in here every week getting an episode out. The vlogs I said I'm going to start doing. I'm doing them every single show, whether I'm in the mood or not. I said it on last night's vlog. I'm like, sorry, the last two have been a little lackluster. Wasn't really feeling them, but I just had to fucking get them out anyway. So, yeah, now I've voiced it. September, October, solo show will be somewhere in your area. So, yeah, if you want to see the show, if you think your town or city or whatever would like the nonsense that I dribble with, my style of humor, shoot me a DM, because literally at the moment nothing is booked in, but I do have a bit of a short list of places I think might go well. So yeah, shoot me some DMs. Keen to hear from you guys. But this week, if you do want to see me do comedy, I will be at the Wandana Brewery at Mullumbimby on Wednesday the 28th. So this is a little one-off pop-up show, I think it is, with the boys I went away with to Moree and Dubbo. So hopefully this one is of similar vein and it's an awesome gig. So yeah, I don't know much about Mullumbimby other than Iggy Azalea is from there. So maybe her family will come along and I can tee up a connection there somehow. Other than that, Orion Hotel, June 20th, tickets go on sale this week. So again, if you want to come to that show, it's probably my favourite show I'm running at the moment for West Park Productions. Follow the Orion Hotel and keep an eye out for tickets, because that will sell out within a day or two. They are eating the comedy up out there. The following night, I'll be back at Sunny's at Margate, June 21st. Tickets went on sale over the weekend, and I checked numbers this morning, and they're down to like 20 tickets left or something. So if you want to come to that one, I'm not saying there's going to be tickets left by the time this episode comes out, but if there is, snatch them up, come hang out there. And the one I teased last week, again, not 100% locked in yet, but I'm fairly certain I'm coming to Gladstone and Yeppoon in July. So dates to be announced. Just trying to juggle that with the Distillery Road Market gig. But I just don't think I can miss out on the opportunity to cruise up there, not only for the sake of the gigs, but a lot of the bigger podcasters are up in that area, and I feel like I could collaborate with a couple of them while I'm in the area. So hopefully that happens. Other than that, guys, appreciate you guys listening as usual. If you want to get in touch with the show, send submissions via DM on Instagram or by email at cantgetanyworsepod@gmail.com. Send me any turns out it can get worse clips. Send me fucking voice messages. Send me anything. I'm keen to hear from you guys. Keep sharing the podcast around. Like I said, steady and slow growth at the moment. We've pretty much doubled our numbers since January, which is absolutely unreal for me. Absolutely stoked. And again, I said last week, a little personal goal was to get to 1,000 followers on Instagram. At the time of recording this, we are at 989 followers. So I'm hoping but by the time this episode comes out, I'm hoping that's ticked over. If not, and you're not following the Instagram, jump on, throw it a follow. Means the absolute world. Other than that, guys, I'm done for another week. I'll be back next week with a normal episode, a UFC breakdown, and potentially a guest episode thrown in there somewhere. But stay tuned, guys. Appreciate you guys listening, and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. It's always